I think this is going to be a very special episode today because I am here with a dear friend of mine, Peggy. Peggy and I met, I think in 2021 now, as she joined a group program to ditch alcohol and has just been such an amazing woman in my life, the way that she shares so much happiness and joy about being alcohol free. And I got to meet her in New York when she came to see me speak at a Sands Bar event. And then I got to really spend some more time with her on a retreat in Puerto Vallarta, where she joined our Euphoric retreat last year. And so I'm just so pleased and so touched to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Hi, Karolina. So happy and excited to be on here with you. I mean, it's a true honor, to just be able to spend this time and to talk about my journey, since I've met you. And so I'm doing awesome. Happy January. I can't believe that, it's 2023. And I mean, time just flies when you're having fun, right? So, yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So, we came together, so many years ago now. Basically, I had a group program launching, and it was an opportunity to take a solid break from alcohol and kind of work on your relationship with alcohol. So I'm just curious, like, what was the awareness level? What was it for you that kind of started tuning you into this idea that like, maybe this isn't serving me, or I want to try a break from alcohol? Had you thought about it before? Had like other things kind of like come up before then, like years ago, or what did that kind of look like for you?
I think that for me, I started thinking about my relationship with alcohol, I would say maybe 5 years ago. And so I started looking for ways where I could just really start taking care of my health and my wellness and incorporating exercise as well as better um, eating habits and just really just I thought I was at a point in my life where I needed to just really address self-care. And when I started learning about just the effects of alcohol and what they were doing to women especially, I got really, really curious. And so I believe back in 2020, I started really diving in and just really following, some of the mentors and coaches that have really gotten me to where I am today, you being one of them. And so I started, to really moderate my alcohol intake, and I started to see how my body was reacting to that approach, and I really liked it. I really thought, you know what, this is actually making me feel better. I'm trying to really plan my drinks and really trying to see the kind of woman, that I can be without, this substance. And so when I came across you on social media, I think that that's really what just made everything make even more sense, because I started attending some of your workshops, and I was just really curious about learning more. And I thought for a minute there, maybe I could just really give this substance up for real. And it just didn't seem like the moderation was working for me. I didn't enjoy waking up to a hangover. I didn't enjoy not remembering much of from what happened the night before. I really wanted to just grab a good grasp of my life and be in control of my day to day. And so when I learned that you were going to be doing this euphoric program, become euphoric, I thought, you know what, this is my chance. This is my chance to really see how I can do, in this program. And if alcohol is something that I really can do without. So I just, dove right in and I started working with you. And from the moment that I started reading your material, I just thought I was just so wowed. I was just mesmerized with just all the information that you provided us and all the different activities that you had us participate in as a group. And I was just so excited from the beginning. And I think that that was part of the reason that I did so well, because I would have never imagined that I would be the type of woman that would be able to go to a party or go to a dinner, go to a get together, a wedding, a birthday. I mean, those are all the kind of events where you have alcohol consumption. And it was just part of my norm, I would say, my entire life. I mean, that's what we're told. That's what we're told is the norm. And so just stepping out of that comfort zone and taking that leap of faith for me was huge, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to fall on my face trying to do this. I didn't know if, I was going to fail. Sometimes failure, can be something that scares you off from doing the things that you really want to do. But I said, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. And it was the best decision of my life.
Oh, Peggy, it just warmed my heart to hear that story, and that like it's almost like coming of age, but coming of awareness, right? Like how we go from kind of, just going through the norm and just accepting it as just part of life to like, hey, wait a minute, does it have to be like this? Do I have to do this type of a thing? And, I have to just say too, that like, when we were in that group coaching program together, Peggy just came to be the sun. Like Peggy was the sunshine we all needed. Like every time we met, it was just like, and I'm so grateful for this. And I'm so excited about this. And look at all these mocktails to try. And I really do believe, like it just represents what I mean by the word euphoric. Like, do I think that it's all fun and rainbows and sunshine and rainbows for every person? Not necessarily, of course, right? There's challenges and stuff that comes up. But I really love to do as a coach is really help people see, well, what can we be grateful for? What can we find the blessing in? What can we find, something like that? And I just think that that's something that you've done so well. And it's just served your kind of mental resilience so well, no matter what's being thrown at you, your real ability to find the gold nugget or find the blessing or anything like that. And I also think it's interesting too. It's kind of mimics my story of how like the health and wellness journey started first. And then it's like, this alcohol thing really is not fitting with this other stuff I'm doing. You know what I mean? And it just kind of becomes a little bit incongruent to everything else, but also then just goes to show how intuitive you really have to be to really see that. And so many people just won't, like alcohol is just like, nope, that's an untouchable. You know what I mean? We don't kind of do that. So when you first, decided to, the way I frame these programs is often to take a break, to make it very approachable for people. When you decided to like take a break from alcohol, did you ever think like you'd keep going for this long? And what was the decision point when you're like, you know what, let's keep this train moving. Like, let's see what's possible here. Like, talk us through that kind of mental conversation you had with yourself.
So I think when I think back to just, being a little girl, I've always been very impressionable. And so things that speak to me, I just want to just go with right away. And people that just really conquer my heart and my mind, those are the people that I just want to stick with. And when someone, a mentor, a coach, a teacher speaks to me and I really get the messages, I just want to just continue growing and just learning more. And I think that with your program, initially I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this for 30 days. And 30 days in itself seemed like the impossible, right? And I think that I've heard so many stories about women who, when they talk about it, 30 days is a lot of time, right? Especially when we've got events going on and just our normal lives consist of this alcohol consumption. And so I thought, you know what, I could try to do 30 days. Let me try to do 30 days. And so the 30 days came and went and I was feeling amazing. And then I thought I could do 60 days. And then I would just hear your stories of your journey and, your euphoric path in your sobriety. And I thought, I want to be like Karolina. I want, she talks about creativity and all of that good stuff coming out once, you stop numbing. And I thought, I'm a creative person. I want to allow myself to just step out of the box and just like look for different avenues and different ways where I can really serve the world and really get my message out. So that's, I think, part of my excitement and part of the reason why I wanted to just keep on going. And then I thought, okay, so my new goal, and I think I said this in one of our classes, one of our group classes, I said, okay, well, I've got a goal and my goal is 6 months. I can do 6 months because I've done about, I don't know, a month or so it was back then. I think I could definitely do the 6 months. And I just, I think that I didn't shy away from going to events and from getting together with friends, which to me in the beginning, I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Someone's going to offer me a drink and what are they going to say? What are they going to think? And so I was very vulnerable and I was just very open about the fact that, hey, I just don't want to drink alcohol anymore. And I was talking facts and just spreading like so much information with people that wanted to hear it. And I think that's part of the challenge. A lot of people don't want to hear it sometimes. And those that didn't, I guess, didn't get my message or where I was coming from, but I've gotten so good at it now. And it's not always easy. You find yourself in situations where people are going to not really understand where you're coming from. And here I am a year and a half later, and I'm feeling better than I've ever felt in my entire life. I'm a life coach and, I'm all about empowering women on best practices where they can just have and just lead their best lives through meditation, movement, and gratitude, like you mentioned before. I really, try to always look at, okay, even if I'm going through a tough situation or something that doesn't feel that great, or I'm sick or something's going on, right? Because we always have the ups and downs. And I can always be grateful for not drinking alcohol anymore. That's one of my gratitudes. And for just really just being different from everybody else. And I think you've talked a lot about why do we want to be average, right? The average person drinks alcohol. The average person isn't happy doing the type of work that they do. And I'm the kind of woman that I'm ready to just make all my dreams come true. And it all started with me making the decision that alcohol wasn't going to be a front player in my life. And so that's what just keeps my drive and just keeps me going and just keeps me open. And I was so happy when I first made my 1 year mark of being alcohol free, to decide to join your retreat. That was my gift to myself. I thought, oh my God, what better thing to give myself than joining Karolina and so many other women that are on the same path as myself. And that was another great decision that I made. It was just such an awesome experience. And I feel like it was just yesterday. I mean, it was just a couple of months ago, but I learned so much from that. So much.
Oh my gosh, I have so much I want to follow up in and ask on, the creative expression, just the explosion of possibility. But since we just touched on the retreat, let's go there first. So I think the idea, when I was drinking, the idea of going on a retreat is something I might have dreamed about, but I would have probably never been the type of person who would have like really locked it in and done it. Maybe like a little small thing like nearby my house, but like to me, there was also this sense of like, well, why not me? Like now that I'm alcohol free, why not be the type of person who goes on this experience and really immerses themselves with a mentor they like and like-minded women and all that kind of stuff. So I know for me, that kind of like, yes, I'm worth this like immersive experience and this immersive event was a huge just growing like a evolution of just even my mindset, you know what I mean? So I love how it was like your 1 year anniversary and you're like, yes, I deserve this, let's go do this. And so then how was the experience for you? We were in Puerto Vallarta, we were like in tree houses, it was lots of activities, but I think my favorite part is obviously when we got together in our morning sessions to really go deep into like how do we express our deeper purposes in the world? So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like I mentioned before, it was just a mind-blowing experience. I'm so glad that I did it. It was a huge investment for my inner self, for my creative side, for everything that I've done in the short couple of months that have passed, since we were there. And so for me, it was just every day waking up and just watching the sun come up and knowing that I was going to go meet you and the rest of the ladies at the women's circle. And I was able to journal every day about my experience and just take great notes and just really be vulnerable and share my experiences and some of the things that I was going through. So I think that just in terms of just feeling like you were being empowered because you were amongst, of course, you, Karolina, who you've done so much, in the span of time that you've been doing this work, and then the other women who were, so like-minded and just also open to just sharing, some of their experiences. I think that was my favorite part, the women's circle, every morning waking up, knowing that I would walk out fulfilled and walk out with different ideas and different things that I wanted to work on after I would leave the retreat. So every day, every day I would write something down that was a takeaway, something that I wanted to work on, something that I wanted to share with my clients as part of just some of this creative work that I had done, some of the things that I had discovered about myself that I not necessarily in the past would have been able to do if I was back home and trying to squeeze out an hour, to go to a coaching session. I was on this retreat and I had all this time to myself. So I missed my family, I missed my kids, I missed my husband, but this was my time. And I think that that's why these retreats for women are huge. I mean, huge growth opportunities. And I came back and I did a lot of sharing with a lot of my community and a lot of my good friends. And I was just like, this was just what I needed. And I'm so glad I did it. And I would do it all over again. And then just some of the things that we did, like the hikes and just meeting all the different people and just getting to know their culture. And there was just so much that we did. I mean, the ice bath, right? That was that was huge. And just really stepping out of my comfort zone to do things that I hadn't done in the past, the cacao ceremony, just everything, the way that it was built out for us was done so beautifully. it was just so thoughtful. And I mean, obviously things don't always go perfectly, right? But I mean, all in all, it was just such an amazing experience. And I just can't wait to do another one with you, to be honest. It was just, and for anyone, who's interested, definitely I would recommend, for them to do it with you, because you do it so thoughtfully and you really care about your clients and you really just give so much back, especially during the women's circle when you really speak to us. And, we have so many takeaways, from those different sessions. So, and then plus it doesn't hurt that we were in beautiful Mexico, right? So, I mean, all in all, wonderful experience.
Oh, Peggy, I'm just so blessed and honored to, have you share this experience and really to be able to have been working with you, ever since 2021 as part of this community, because, you are just such a light. And I can't wait to see you hosting retreats. You definitely have that in you. But for anyone, just a quick plug, if anyone's interested in going on a retreat, we do have Bali coming up in May, and then other things will be calendared as they will. So, keep an eye out on that. I know, Peggy, I'll see you at another retreat one day as well. So, something that I think is so incredible that you speak upon as well is like really seeing the alcohol-free journey as like really growth in your personal development. And you used the word before, like your creativity really went up, and just the sense of possibility, I think, really went up for you. So, kind of looking back at the span of, the last year and a half or so, what has opened up for you? So like what has shifted for you? What, new idea have you been implementing or trying? What's been kind of going on in that kind of a sense for you, as you've been growing?
So I think I'll start by talking a little bit about a memoir that I'm writing. So
Ooh.
just going back, to my elementary school days, I remember loving to write. I remember loving poetry. I remember loving doing a lot more reading. And so after I came back from the retreat, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start writing. I'm going to start writing. It's what I enjoy. It's not something that most of us do much anymore, right? Because we're constantly on our computers or on our smartphones and we're constantly typing. So writing is just a form of just like getting really in tune with my inner self and my inner child. So I started my memoir by going back and really looking at my inner child, Peggy, little Peggy, which is what I call her, and really just going back to those days where little Peggy had so much excitement and just was thrilled with life and going to school and putting together things and just creating. I mean, I was really, really big on that when I was younger. And then somewhere along the line, right, life happened. And I think I just started, doing what was expected of me, right? Being, the woman who went and got her college degree, the woman who went and got her master's degree, the woman who had a family, the good mother, the good provider, the good friend, the good sister. I mean, all that is all great, but it didn't really leave room for my creative side. And so now, ever since, I've started this path, I feel like I'm doing, stuff that, really speaks to me and to my creative side. And so that's why I mentioned my memoir that I'm currently working on. And then also just really stepping into the life coach hat. I love working with other women that are like-minded and really sharing my practices, because what I want to do is that I want to help empower women and even younger women, like young girls, to really understand that they can empower their lives and make their dreams come true. And that from a young age, you can really start diving into that creativity and trying not to lose it, because society and because the norm is to really just follow the steps of everybody else, right? And as women, I think that sometimes we do allow that. And so I feel like I'm just getting started. And I think that if we're able to get started a lot younger, I mean, it's just endless, the kind of things that we can do for this world. And, there's only one of us, right? And so that one person, that one you can just really blow this world up and in the best ways possible, right? So that we can help make a difference and help empower this world and just learn and just grow and just empower one another is really what I want to continue to do. So with my coaching, which is pura vida, which means really just pure life, living your best life, that's what I just want to help women do and live, and just really understand from my life and from what I share. And I'm an open book. I want to really share everything about everything I've gone through. And, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy, but I am in a place where I just feel like I've learned all that I'm going to learn for now. And now I just want to share. Like, I think we spoke in one of the women's circle, right? Women's circles. You had said that, okay, well, we're here for a period of time to learn, learn, learn. And then it's time to sort of give back, share that creativity, share that growth, share everything, that you've gone through so that you can help empower other women who are facing similar challenges to really rise above it all and just move forward with through grief, through difficulties in life, through health issues, right? I mean, we go through all those kind of things every day. And so if we can just remember, and that's one very thing that I'm very big on, if we could just remember, especially to be grateful for all the little things, it just makes life so much easier. And it really just shines this big light on anything that's going on. I mean, that's what I'm doing in my life right now. And it's just really so helpful, so helpful. And that's what I want to try to do. And that's the kind of community that I want to build. I want to build a community of women that really can just stay strong and show up to their lives and show up for themselves, most important of all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I wish I had a Peggy, I got to work with when I was younger, because I was so stuck in that, so stuck in the shoulds. And, I don't have like kids yet myself, and I am married, but it wasn't necessarily the family pressures, but it was like, this is what your career has to look like, right? And these are the schools you have to go to, and this is what you have to study. And I mean, I studied art history and English, so maybe I was a little out of the box, but then I got an MBA to be a little bit more serious. So it's like, it was not easy, but it was so like, I could show up for other people's goals and dreams, like that I can do. I can check the boxes. I can do the stuff like that. But then to set aside time to write that book I always wanted to write, never happening, right? And I think there's such a truth to that. Peggy shared also some stories when she was growing up. Like, I think naturally, as children, like we have this effusive energy and we have this creativity and we have just this hope and sense of possibility. And then it's just like life throws us, such a hardball or reality or, so many experiences that result then in limiting beliefs because of whatever meaning we picked up for them, that we get so demoralized and we just settle, for whatever it is we think we can etch out. Some people's version of settling could look higher, some of them lower than that. But like to think bigger than that is almost just like foreign to our brain. Women need this so badly. And I'm just anyone who is even slightly remotely interested and piqued their interest because of this conversation, please go check out Peggy. She's an amazing coach. You're going to love working with her. So Peggy, tell us then, with this life coaching business, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but like spell it out a little bit more for us. Like what kind of pain points or challenges do your clients go through, and how do you help them kind of change that reality?
I think that most of the women that I speak to and meet with are just overwhelmed with their day to day. That's what the messages that I keep on hearing. And they talk about what they want to do, and they talk about what they want to change, and they talk about habits, that they want to work on and just start taking on, but they just can't find the time to do it. And so, for example, I'll share with them that one of my practices is to just, which is I'm very, very big on, is just to get to bed early. So I have set up boundaries for myself around sleep. And so I need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. So I get to bed early. I wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and those first couple of hours are for me. So before everybody wakes up, that's the time that I take for myself to meditate, to do my gratitude work, to just breathe, right? Breathing is huge. And I know it's part of meditation, but sometimes I really just focus on just how is my breath work today? How am I, just trying to calm the body and the mind before all this stuff, starts coming and rushing in. And I think that, that's been huge in my lifestyle. I've been doing it for 3 years now, ever since COVID. And it's just been so helpful. And so I try to help women understand and try to incorporate some of these practices into their day to day. And I find that once they start to do it, they start seeing a difference. And so, that it takes about 30 days to really form a habit. And so I try to, encourage them. It's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, not ridiculous time, but you really, just have to be coachable. That's another message. You really have to want to be in it, to get something out of it and to really see a change in your life. So if you're the type of woman that is willing to be coachable, then we can work together and I can really, help you see the differences that you can make in your life. And through these different practices, which again are the meditation, the gratitude work, and the movement, I think that you're going to start to see a shift in your life. You're going to start to see how you're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your family and you're taking care of everything else, but you're taking care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, then you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. At least, not in the best way possible. Your health is going to be affected at some point because, like you mentioned, you're run down. You feel like you don't have any energy. You feel like, you just don't have what it takes to just live this powerful life that you so want to have. And that's what I get for a lot of my clients, that they want to have this amazing life, that they want to travel, that they want to even go to a yoga class and they can't find the time for it. So I just find that the more, you incorporate these different shifts and changes into your life, you're going to start to see progress. And I tell my clients, don't give up. Do not give up, because this is hard work. I mean, I've been doing it for a number of years now, and it's still work. Every day that I show up to my life, it's a day that I did work. Every day that I listen to a podcast by one of my mentors or coaches, that's work, because there's always something that I'm writing down. There's always something that I'm taking away. There's always something that I'm talking to a client about and making a recommendation on. And that's huge, because that's how I've learned everything that I've learned these last few years. And it's just been amazing to be able to do that and to make plans around all that great work. So you can find time. You can build it into your calendar. Just make your calendar your best friend. That's another bit of advice that I give. Put the stuff on your calendar, and that way you find yourself accountable. You know what's on your calendar. You know at lunchtime, you're going to close your eyes for 10 minutes and you're just going to give yourself some time. Those 10 minutes are huge. I mean, I've been doing that, and for a while, and it's like when I open my eyes, I feel refreshed and I can take on the world. I can answer that email, right? And just, use that approach of just pausing before I react, which is something else that I've been focusing on and that I teach my clients. Before you react, pause, take a breather. It's so helpful, before you start thinking about all these things and not think of the better creative solutions and, the better decisions that you can make and the better responses that you can offer. And all of that really just helps to round you out. And you start to see the changes. You start to see the shifts. You're like, wow, who is this person? Who is this woman? What is she, how did she become this woman? And I think that's what I'm seeing, especially this year after the retreat. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not second guessing myself anymore. The decisions that I make are the best decisions for myself. And I trust myself 100% now more than ever. So I
Wow.
think that's what works for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so amazing. And just like, who isn't struggling with that overwhelm? Who doesn't relate to exactly what you told us? And it's so interesting that, like, in our mind, it feels like we're so locked, like, well, this has to get done and I have to do all this responsibilities and stuff like that. And there's obviously too, like, for women, almost like a cult of martyrdom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm meant to take this all on. I'm meant to take care of everyone. My husband couldn't possibly pay the taxes. I have to do it right. And we just like create this kind of these stories, and then the me time is completely missing, and I remind myself this all the time. Like, I can completely get sucked into that cult of busyness. Like this afternoon I went on a walk for like an hour, in the middle of my workday, and I was like, yes, I need to go walk. Like, this is what I need to do today. And on Monday I went like on a 2-hour hike in the middle of the workday. And I do have that flexibility, but I think most of us have breaks and, most of us lunch hours and those kinds of things that we can kind of take advantage of. And I'm curious, in your own life, like, being the kind of woman who now takes care of herself, who works on her dreams, who helps other women work on their dreams, what do you think that like represents to your children and to your daughters specifically? Like, do you think, like, especially how we were talking about earlier, if only at a younger age we knew some of this stuff, to have a mom who is really this emblem of what it looks like to not only take care of yourself, but also to honor your dreams and your desires. What do you think that like is doing for your household?
I think that, well, first of all, my daughter is a preteen, so it's kind of like that iffy age. And I'm glad that I started working with her and really trying to focus on just allowing her to see, that, especially with the alcohol, right? Like she knows that I'm alcohol free. And I try to really teach her about the reasons why I'm alcohol free and just, the poisonous effects of the alcohol. And I get it that everybody else drinks. A lot of people drink alcohol, and that's their decision to make, but that it's really important to really just make informed decisions for our own selves, and that it's not always going to be what everybody else is doing. And that's okay. And so I try to teach her that it's okay not to be part of the crowd, not to be part of the cool kids, that I went through that as well. And I was a very shy girl back then. And, it wasn't the easiest thing to do. So I really try to like step into her shoes and offer her advice on just really trying to navigate that gray area. And so I started working with her on gratitudes early on as well. And we still do it. So like every morning when I drive her to school, I ask her, all right, let's do our gratitudes. And sometimes she'll like say, oh, well, I'm a little tired. And I'm like, we're going to talk about some gratitudes, girl. And so I'll give her one gratitude, and then she'll come back with one gratitude, and we'll do 3 gratitudes. And so I know that it sticks with her, because once she says that she's grateful for one thing, then it strikes up a conversation. And now you see this whole light in her, and she's excited about this thing that she's grateful about. And you see the huge difference that it makes in a young child. And, they really don't think about it because they're really not asked or taught that gratitude is something that's important, not in school and not really anywhere. But if you have someone who's really just reminding you about gratitude and kindness, which I try to remind her of as well, just, how important it is to be kind to others, to classmates, to just your teachers, your mentors, your coaches. My daughter plays basketball, so she has a lot of coaches, and she's constantly going to tournaments. And, I see the way some kids act, and I constantly remind her, respect, kindness, gratitude, those are things that you just have to have. And that's what you've been taught all along. And that's not something that is really negotiable. And she gets it. She really does. And I share examples with her of ways where, she could really just honor those different characteristics. And, she's growing and she's learning, and she's not perfect, but I feel like I'm raising a pretty smart young lady. I really talk to her about just, career options and just really following her dreams. And, when she'll say something like, oh, well, I'm not really sure. And I'm just like, well, just think of all the different, things that you can do with that. And then you decide which route you want to take, or which way you want to go with it, or how you want to hand in this project. What do you want to say about this? There's just so many ways, instead of just thinking of one and then being stuck. And so I try to just give her options and choices, so that she knows that as she moves along in her academic life, she knows that she's going to have a lot of choices, and that she's going to be the one responsible for making those choices, so that she could live her best life starting now. And I give her credit for all the things that she does. And I can't believe she's an athlete, because I was never an athlete, right? So here's this little girl playing basketball, like, a pro. I look at her and I'm just like, wow. I cheer her on and I woo-hoo her on the videos. And I'm just so proud of the young girl that she is, and the young woman that she's growing into. And, just the way that she handles herself, and she takes care of herself. She does her own laundry. She makes her own meals. So at the tender age of 12, she's learned so much, and I'm just so proud of her.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, it just sounds like she's an amazing, amazing young woman. It sounds like she's also so blessed to have you as a mother. And I just hope like that the kind of circles connecting for the listeners is that like this type of parenting and this type of real presence and intention with our children is a result of Peggy leaning into her growth and really, focusing on her dreams as well. So it's like, I think it really is a lie that we tell ourselves that, that's not a priority. I can't focus on that. I have to focus on the family, the kids. It's like, this is how we become better all around for the people that we love and that we serve. So just one last question. I'm going to put you on the spot, and then we'll tell the listeners where people can find you. So if someone is in the audience right now listening, and they're kind of on the precipice of a new dream, of something that's come to them, now that they're been reevaluating the role of alcohol in their life, and they have this new idea on their heart, or, whether they're have gotten any progress on it or not, it's something that is just kind of, for me, for example, it's launching my certification program this year. So even though I've accomplished other dreams I'm super proud of, there's always like a new goal on your heart, but it's so scary to be there because you're, not sure if you can do it and all the kind of stuff that comes up with that. So what would just be your quick advice for someone who's on that kind of precipice of feeling excited about something, but also just a little scared and terrified and not sure what to do?
I think just take those baby steps. Take those baby steps. I mean, one small action can get you so lit up about your dream and about what you're trying to do. That's what I've done. I came back from the retreat and I really took to heart some of the discussions we had and just some of the ideas that I shared with you and some of the things that I wanted to work on. And I came back and I just didn't allow my busy life to get in the way of those dreams. And so what I did, to share with you as an example, is that I started sharing some of my reels, some reels on just, some of the activities that I participated in at the retreat, and just talking about what I wanted to do in 2023. That was my take on it. So I jumped on social media one day and I said, listen up, listen up, everyone. I've got some exciting news. I'm going to be launching a business. It's called Pura Vida, and it's about empowering women to live their best lives. And I'm going to be holding some women's circles. And so you'll be happy to hear that I've actually done 2 already
Oh my gosh.
in January.
Amazing.
So I jumped right in. And it was baby step into little baby step into little baby step. And here I am, just going with the flow, doing the little things that really just keep you motivated and keep you feeling so good, so good about that dream that you're trying to achieve. So it might be a post. It might be just, I don't know, writing a letter to someone, to a mentor or a coach, about like just you really loving their technique or the way that they speak, or just something that has to directly do with that dream that you do. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's going to make a huge impact in you just really following through and just continuing on that path. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you're just going to be like out there. You're going to be out there and you're going to have this community, and you're going to have people that really just resonate with your message and with what you're trying to do. So
Well,
go for it.
I couldn't agree more. Like you said it so beautifully, so eloquently. Peggy, where can people find you if they want to join your women's circles, if they want to work with you privately? Please tell us all those details.
Sure, happy to do so. So I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. So you can follow me at Pura Vida, Puravida by Peggy. And so on there, you'll see that I've got my reels up and positive messages, and just anything that just really speaks to me is what I put out there for my clients. Because hopefully it's going to speak to someone and it's going to make a difference in someone's life. Even if it's just one person, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really help my community and grow my community. And that's that's what I want to work on in 2023. Just really building this community of women that are really just going to stand up for themselves and show up for themselves and just have their best year yet.
Wow. Well, we'll definitely include all those links in the show notes below. And, just to end on that too, like changing one person's life, sometimes we have these huge visions. I want to help all these people. I want all these people to buy this and attend this and all this stuff. And we just forget like the impact we can make on just one life. It's so worth it. It's so worth it all. Right. And everyone's soul is just beautiful on their learning journey, on their growing journey. And if we as humans can just make that ripple effect to someone else, like our life automatically has meaning, and I know we do it all the time in all small ways, but I think we all could really also, see a bigger vision as well of how we can continue helping people. So thank you so much, Peggy. It's been such a pleasure and honor to talk with you today. I just love to see that trajectory and how much just empowerment and, legacy you're creating, for the women in your community, the women in your family. Like this is big stuff, so it's really brave to do everything you're doing. And it's also going to make a huge difference. So we'll be sure to link to Peggy's social media website and all that kind of fun stuff in the show notes. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Karolina, and keep on doing all the great work that you're doing, because you are making a big impact. And, you are one of my favorite people, and you know that. And I'm so glad to be here, speaking to you today and being on this journey with you. And I look forward, to doing more great things with you, because, you're going to really, just do great things. You're already doing them. So never change.
Isn't she the best, you guys? Everyone go work with Peggy.
Oh, thank you, Karolina.
All right.